Yeah, hi, good day. I'll be doing a review on animations, and I would have to start from transitions. So in the last class we talked about animations, transitions, transform, and other things. So let me explain linear gradient to you again. So gradient allows you to create smooth transitions to between two or more colors. So you can use like four colors, five colors, six colors, and all that, adding a vibrant and modern touch to your design. The linear gradient function generates an image that can be used as a background. So how you do that is you can generate multiple colors, two or more colors in your background. So we have the first it takes some arguments, that's the property. If you remember in our what we're discussing CSS, we talked about properties and value. After, if we declare a CSS declaration, yeah. So the direction specifies the direction of the gradient, like where do you want the gradient to, is it from left to right or from top to bottom? That's what the to right means and to bottom means, or to bottom right, or an angle of 45-degree. Then we have the colors stop one, the color stop two, colors to transition between. Optionally followed by a percentage to define where the color transition points to. So let me create a new file and try this button background. So this is my file. Let me create one here, ingredient. Let me create ingredient. I'll call it let's say grad.html. All right, I create my HTML. I will still use the same style.css. So let me just copy it here, paste it here. My gradient in the body section. So this is how to create your HTML structure. So HTML is the like skeletal system of the web. You have to put that structure in it before you can start building on it. So you have to put the skeleton properly, you have to put the head, you have to put the shoulders. Like let's use a human skeletal analogy now. The legs has to be there, everything has to be there before the body comes in place. So so let's start. I don't think I need this one. Okay. Okay, let's just put the heading one, which is H1. So in HTML we have from H1 to H6, which is the heading hierarchy. Okay, so let's continue. We have a paragraph. Then let's create a div the for the background color. So now let's give our body, not body per se, but let's put our H1 into a div. Or can put it into a section. Let's put it into a section also. Both are fine. So I have my section. I have welcome to gradient page. This is a sample demonstration of CSS gradient. Okay. Then in my style.css, I would create let me create a okay, let me add a class. Let me call it gradient background. So in the class, all right. So let's continue. So let me add my gradient background. Yeah. So if you notice, I'm following the hierarchy. I'm using hyphen. So I could decide to use underscore two and use underscore here. Anyone goes well. So let's use underscore for now. And let's always avoid spacing your class name, because HTML will recognize this class as a different class name and this other one as a different class name. Please let's ensure to avoid all this spacing and all that. So always make your you're coding your values, your properties, every single thing, your attributes, every single thing in small letter. So great, let's continue. Um, where are we now? Okay, so let's add background to this one. So this statement says that okay, I have given this my gradient background, a linear gradient of 45 degrees. So to start from 45 degrees of red, yellow, green, and blue. So let's check out let's check that out and see. Okay, I'm not using animation yet. Okay, so this height 100 VH is the maximum height of a page, and let me explain that also. Though our default width is 100%, so I can take this out. Let's go into, let me run this. So I can right click on, okay, I must start the CSS. I can either right click and click on open live server, or go down here where I have go live and click on it, go live. So it opens my, so we can see that from 45 degrees, that's this going from down here, it's taking my colors from the yellow, what are those colors again, from the red, which is here, the yellow, the green, and then the blue. So that's how it works. So let me take the blue out and see everything from the green. So it's taking from 45 degrees, and 45 degrees of my section is the whole, it's just like an angle. We all know what angle, how angle looks like in 45 degrees. So something like here. So it's taking from red, yellow, green, and if I replace it to blue, so take the blue. Also, you may not really see the blue because it's like a gradient, so it's showing around here. So let's try 90 degrees and see. 90 degrees. So you can see that 90 degrees takes the gradient from the red to the blue, but on a 90-degree. So let's try 180. Voila. So it starts the red from 180 degrees to yellow, green, and blue, like that. So you can just play around gradients, and so let's see here. Okay, let's try it to right here. So it says linear gradient to right. Let's try this and see what happens. Take this out. Great. So let's test and see what happens. Okay, so let me change the color of my to white. Let me take out the background size. All right, let me change this color to something light, or let me try two first so you can see that. So great. So to right, so to explain this thing to you again, the linear gradient starts from the direction, then the colors, and the stop. So it goes from left, that's here, to right. So the blue from the left to the right. So let's try to left and see. So it goes from the blue here to the light blue here, from left to right. And let's try to bottom left. So here it goes from the blue here to the bottom left here. So if you notice the blue here covers here, then it goes to the um so you can just manipulate gradient, like linear gradient, like that. Okay, so let's try this one that has the stop. Yes, great. So this one that has the stop, I copy this one, I paste here. So this is the direction. I'm taking my linear gradient from the direction of 135 degrees. Then it's starting from the zero, that's the percentage where the initial position. So if I let me change this color to a lighter color. So if I save this, if you look at it, starts from 135 degrees, from the blue downwards here to the light blue here. So that's how it starts from the top. So let's put 40 degrees, 40%. So it takes 40% of the page at first to the 100, where it converts the hundreds to the um this color we have here. Okay, so that's just so much about linear gradients. You can check more on that. So let's continue. um Radial gradients, yeah, circular color effect. That's what we have. So while radial gradients create transitions along a straight line, radial gradients emanates as emanates colors, brings out colors from the central point, the center of a circular effect, spreading outwards in a circular or ecliptical pattern like eclipse and all that. So think that's why you see things like creating eclipse. So this allows for effect like spotlight, subtle background texture, or circular color burst. Okay, so let me explain this to you now. Let me inside my gradient background, I can now create or let me okay, yes, I can let me create a div. I'll call the div so let's make it a div to be a circle or an eclipse. So class eclipse creating dot eclipse because it's a class. I'm using a class selector. All right, so as at my background, so let me explain the syntax breakdown to you. We have the shape, we have the size, we have the at position, and we have the color stop. You know, for linear gradient, we just had the direction, like where to, and we had the colors and the stop. Should it stop or start? Should it start from should it stop at 0% and 100% for the other colors? So as we have for the radial gradient, should it what position should it be at? What position should it start from? And what where the center of the gradient is located, that's the position. Then the size is how the gradient ends. Does it end in the closest side or the farthest side? Then we have the color stop, as explained, the colors and the optional stop percentage. So let's look at this one. Radial gradient circle at 70 to 30. So this 70 to 30 is the position where it the grade center of the gradient is located. Then the colors. So let's try this out. Background, radial, gradient. A circle now. Yes, circle. Circle at 70%, 30%. Okay, just giving us a color. Let's save this. Nothing will be displayed until I give it a height and a width. So let me give this a height and the width. I need. I don't think I would need to translate anything now. Let me go back and see. All right, all right. So I've created the circle and I've created the radiant inside. So if you're not sure of, let me zoom this further. You're going to see the difference between the colors. There is let me give it a deep color so you can see it better. Yeah. So we can see that it's starting from 30% of 70% of the circle and taking it to the 30%. So that's 70% the of the something like orange and 30% of the blue, light blue. Yeah. So that's the position, circle at position. That's just all about radiant. So radial gradients, I mean. So now let's look at the other one, eclipse at the center. So this one will start from the center. The colors are going to start from the center. So let me just copy the eclipse black and this and paste it here. So we all know how eclipse look like. All right. So okay, this has yep, great. All right. So great, 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 great. Okay, let me remove the background for this for now so we can properly see that. All right. So we all know how our eclipse looks like. So this is starting from the center. The colors are starting from the center, where we have this blue to be the innermost color. You know how eclipse, just like when we have eclipse, the moon covers the sun, and it stays in between the sun, so we can see the sun still, but the moon is covering it. So things like that. So that's how eclipse work. So you can just add so you state eclipse at center, you give it a color. Let me give it a brighter color. See this color 9. Yep, think I like this color. Okay, I have to give this position. All right, let me take out this blue first, and I will explain that to you. So let me give this at 50%. So great. So it starts with the blue because that's the one at the center. There's the blue at the center from 0% the initial position. So start from the middle, then goes to this color takes 50% to the outer one to the 100. Then black, since black is the 100, so it's like the outer one you can't really see. But let's take black to be 80 and see what happened. So you can see black is 80, is expanding from the position it has. Then so you can just play around these colors and all that. So let's do the conial gradient, and I'll explain conial gradient to us shortly. So conial gradient is like a pie chart like feel. They are distinct from linear and radial gradients as the transition colors around a central point, just like how we have pie chart from around the central point, like the middle when we're drawing a circle, that middle point. So rather from the side or a center outwards. So imagine a pie chart or a color wheel. That's the essence of a conic gradient. This make the ideal for creating pie charts like visualization, decorative borders, or segmented color patterns. All right. So we have the syntax breakdown from the angle. Specifies the starting angle of the gradient. I started from 0 degrees to 90 degrees. Then we have the at position, like is it going to be from the center or 25%? Then we have the color stop 2, color stop 1. So which means colors with the optional angle stops. This angle defines where each colors begin and end. It segments around the circle. All right, so let's start. Let's use this conic gradient. So let's copy this to like a pie chart segment. So let's create a new div. Yep, we'll call it conic. We'll call pie chart. I have my pie chart. I'll create. Okay, I have to follow a convention since I'm using um underscore. I have to follow that convention. All right, let me paste this here. Great. So if I show you, so let's read the code again. So this starts from it starts from the color. So it's taking from 0% to 30%. So this deep blue, or sorry, not the deep blue, the this should be like a navy blue, takes from 0% of the chart to 30%. So it starts from this place, takes 30, 0 to 30%. Then it's going to continue from like 30% to let's see, 30% to 60%. Then from 60% to whatever 100. So I think even when we do this like this, it still remains the same. Great, exactly. So you can decide to add your 100 or take it out, it will automatically understand that it's from 60 to 100, except you want to add another one. So let's add another one. So we'll take from 60 to 80%, and we'll just add another color from 80% to 100. Can you see? So that is how conic gradient works. So we can also use degrees. We can also use degrees in conic gradient. And let's do something like a color wheel. So just call it color wheel. Then don't forget to add it to my HTML div class color wheel. I add my, let me just take it from here. All right, so this says from 0 degree at center to, all right, so this color starts from the center, so it goes round. It takes all the colors and just fits it in their respective boxes. So this is a color wheel, and this is how it works. So this is how color gradient, conic gradient works. Okay, so we can play around that and see. Yeah, so from 0 degree, so this starts from 0 degree here to red, then goes to yellow, green, light blue, purple, then back to red again. So that's just what the code is trying to say. Okay, magenta. All right, all right. So if you want to mix it up, you can also decide to do let's say this from 30 degrees. The 0 degree. So I'm just playing around this. So you can do like the whole angle. So from 90 degree to 180, then 180 here to 270. Then I still want to play around it. Then I can do 270 to 360 degree. Voila. So things like that when you want to build like a pie chart or a color. Yeah, pie chart, so I can say north, east, west. That's the news. North, east, west, northeast, west, south. Yeah. So this is just how you can do linear gradients. Thank you. I would be explaining transform and transition in the next video. Thank you.